And now for a moment, we turn our sights to the Golden State of California, West Coast. I mean, I'm from there originally, so my heart still belongs to that beautiful state. Some of my kids live there, and I mean, it's the promised land, isn't it? It certainly was. Back in the day, we love California. And so once in a while, we have to take a temperature, see what's going on out there, and ask ourselves, what the hell is going on in that state? Joining us now to explain is Kira Davis. She, of course, from redstate.com and her fantastic podcast, Just Listen to Yourself. Kira, hello. It's good to see you.
Hi, Larry. I appreciate that you have so much faith in me that you think I can really succinctly explain what's going on in this state.
Oh, no. If anyone can, you can do it, Kira.
I'll try.
In fact, you should be thrilled. I just saw that your governor, Gavin Newsom, I don't remember him talking about this during the election that he just ran to run for governor. You would think he would make this front and center of his campaign. Elect me governor and I'll do this. But he waited until after he won the election, and now he's ready to sort of give reparations to families of slave owners, right? What exactly is this policy that he's announced that's never going to go anywhere?
Right. Well, it's not a policy. This is a report. Now, the governor put together a task force on reparations for the state, to my mind, with the idea of pitching this right around the time of the presidential elections. So the task force released its initial recommendations for compensation for African American descendants of slaves, particularly living in California. It is a 500-page report. It goes into details about all of the grievances that African Americans should be compensated for. Funny enough, the one grievance that's not on the list is slavery, because California was founded as a free state.
Thank you. I was going to ask. I mean, listen, I only got a high school education, but I'm pretty sure California was on the Union side and was never a slave state. In fact, Californians back in the day actually put on the uniform of the United States Army and fought and died to help free the slaves.
Yeah, it's not, slavery's not a part of this report, but the report lists a lot of consequences of slavery as reasons why African Americans in the state should be compensated. I believe there are about 13 chapters that go into detail,
wow.
And some of them are things, Larry, that you would, okay, I get it, like Jim Crow, housing discrimination, but there are provisions in there for grievances like the fact that transgender women contract HIV at a higher rate than white transgender women. And somehow that's a legacy of slavery. Their words, not mine. And also that Black lesbians have a higher rate of diabetes, heart disease, and suicide. And so that also is a result of the legacy of slavery. It's in there. I'm not making it. It's in there.
All right. Well, Kira, cut to the chase. What's your cut? Because I bought you drinks last time I saw you. You owe me. And I'm going to ask you to pay. I mean, you're getting a free check, right?
Well, it looks like the beginning number, Larry, the beginning number for just one of these grievances, housing discrimination, looks to work out to be about $223,000.
Now you're talking.
For African Americans.
All right, let's roll. I mean, it's only money.
That's just one, Larry. So for the 2 million of us living in the state of California right now who can prove that we are the descendants of slaves, that's just for the housing discrimination portion. Remember, I told you there were like 13 chapters to these grievances. That's one chapter. We're looking at $500 billion to satisfy one chapter. So to my mind, I know this is concerning, and I know that people are getting upset over it, but it's unaffordable.
Yeah.
It's unaffordable, Larry.
Kira, when does that ever stop Democrats? Especially a Democrat like Gavin Newsom. Come on. Let me just, I hate to, listen, I don't want to mess up a good thing you got going there, Kira.
Thank you.
You were born in Canada. You grew up in the Midwest, if I remember right. Oh, in the D.C. area, right?
Off and on.
Yeah, you lived in the Midwest, and you moved to California, what, like 10 years ago, 12 years ago?
15 years ago.
Yeah. So how are you eligible for this? I mean, again, I don't want to get in the way of you cashing in, but is there any criteria? Have they suggested how they're going to determine who's eligible?
It's a fair question. They have not worked out the details, but they have determined that who they feel is eligible are people who can prove that they are the descendants of Black Americans that lived in the United States, not even in California, just the United States, between the years 1913 and 1960 something.
Wow.
Kira,
yes. You're about to get a lot of new neighbors. There's gonna be a whole. It's like the gold rush all over again.
I know, it's very strange because one of the things that the task force has not even decided on yet, Larry, apparently, is whether or not this will apply to just California residents or to people who are across the United States and had descendants in California.
That's
there's
hilarious.
still so many things to work out.
Right. Oh my
and
gosh.
I sat in on one of their Zoom calls. That this panel had multiple Zoom meetings where you could log in and watch them debate this process. And I sat in on a couple, and there were thousands of people in the chat room. And I will tell you this, Larry, that there was not uniformity among the Black people who were watching the process. And in fact, people are still arguing over it. They've been arguing over what would constitute a descendant. Some people think immigrants should be included. Black immigrants should be included in this. Some people, believe it or not, some people are accusing each other of being communists and being corrupt.
Oh, wow.
And so the board was even on the board, they wrote complaints about each other to the governor. So they are at each other's throat just on the board alone. So if this feels like it's a chaotic process, Larry, it's because the leadership is totally chaotic.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, Kira. I hate to fact check you in the middle of an interview like this, but I've been told that Black people in America all think the exact same way and are all uniform in their opinions. So this idea that there are differing opinions within this, that can't be true. But the good news is Oprah Winfrey's finally going to get some kind of windfall here. And then that poor thing, she's just been really having a tough time.
She only has one island.
Yes, that's right. She demands reparations. Before I leave you, there's other great stuff coming out of LA. Am I reading right that you guys are on the verge? I mean, you're not in LA County, but you can certainly comment on it. That they're on the verge of re-implementing the mask mandate. Is this a Back to the Future moment?
You know, in California, no bad idea ever really goes away. It just kind of takes a rest and comes back with a new name or with new people behind it. We knew that that this mask thing was not going to be defeated so easily. And the problem with this whole thing, Larry, is I know it sounds ridiculous. Like, why are they bringing it back when the whole world is moving on? Here is the real problem, Larry. There's money attached to the state of emergency. Our governor has us still in a state of emergency in this state. He has said he may consider letting go of it in February of 2023, year 3 of the state of emergency. So it behooves the Los Angeles Council and government to keep themselves visibly in a state of emergency, because then they can keep applying for those funds, those state COVID funds and those federal COVID funds. Honestly, Larry, you were one of the first people that I was on here with when COVID hit and we got locked down. And I think we said then, and almost 3 years later, we're saying now the biggest mistake we ever made with this virus was connecting money to it.
Yep. I think you're right. I remember that. The good news, though, is if the mask mandate does come back in LA, Kanye is all set. Do you see that mask he was wearing on the Alex Jones show? I mean, that was something else.
He's never going to die.
Yeah, no virus is going to get to him. That's for sure. Kira Davis, thank you. But are you heading over to Ye's house later today? I know you guys are tight.
No comment. Take that back. This is slander. At this point, this is slander.
No, I could have sworn that you and your husband were working on selling him a social media. I'm confusing you with someone else, I'm sure.
That's another Black.
That happens all the time, I'm sure.
Sorry. It's embarrassing. I know.
I hope everyone realizes I'm joking.
I am not touching Kanye West with a 10-foot pole with a Balenciaga glove on the end.
I'm sorry. Are you quoting Kim Kardashian right now? That's Kira Davis of RedState.com. Always great to check in with her. Good luck in California, where we're on live at 6 p.m. every night. So this is your evening news. Thanks for joining us, Kira. More to come on this fun edition of O'Connor Tonight.